Hello everybody and welcome to what I'm sure is going to be a fucking mess. Hi, I'm Michaela and today I'm gonna be talking about this! A Court of Wings and Ruin, the finale in the trilogy of the series that is called the Court of Thorns and Roses series. Where the fuck? I have the first one in hardcover and I don't even know where it is! Oh no! I'm guessing that I just put it back in some box. Yay! I want to preface this by saying I really did like this book, but not as much as the other ones, unfortunately. It definitely has the best cover. Non-spoilery. I enjoyed the plot a lot in this, and there's several things that happened that I was like, yeah! Or several things that happened and I cried. I'm honestly not really a person who enjoys war stories. I really love historical war films. Like, Fury is so good and I'm so excited for Dunkirk, but I don't know, in literature I'm just like, meh. It kind of like puts me to sleep. Yeah, it just didn't really pull me in as much as I thought it was going to, but I tabbed so much of this book. That's a big sad. I did enjoy this a lot, but it was lacking something that I really loved in the first two books. I don't know what it was. I felt Sarah was like somehow really rushed in writing this, because I know she wrote it. She wrote like a whole draft and then she didn't like it and so she wrote it again. So she essentially wrote this twice. Obviously that would have given her less time, I guess. That's about all I can say, is that I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite in the series, but I loved it still. I was satisfied with the conclusion. So read it. Come back if you haven't read it. Read the other two if you haven't read those. Why are you watching this? And I will see you soon. That's not it. I've never wanted to read the last page of a book since Deathly Hallows. The universe is testing me. Also, I can't start it yet because I need to go buy tabs, and I also need chocolate and milk to help me get through this. I don't have any milk. Guys, it's staring at me!
You proud?
I just went on Tumblr and almost got spoiled. So I was like, this book is all talk and no action, and then literally on the next page it was like, shit's happening! My favorite part about the Akotar series is that there's Teen Wolf reference in the first book. Stop. Massive round disc, as tall as I was. Tallest. It was the tallest of all the discs. It was so tall. Taller. This is fake. This is fake. She did this on purpose. She did it. Like, I know he's gonna be alive, but like, when
Where's Lucian though? I haven't seen him in almost 200 pages. Seriously? Are you kidding? Like, this is the second last chapter and we're getting it now.
Hey! Okay. Words that Sarah likes to use a lot. Adamant, as in the rock. Limpid, pallid, vulgar gesture. The latter. The former. Ellipses. Or the other one is where there's just a dash and it cuts off and it's not like she hasn't been interrupted by anyone. It just, her train of thought just stops. Caress of claws. These guys are always like scratching each other essentially. My mate. Every time Feyre said this, it just lost its power. And it's like, girl, do you know that he has a name? I get like when they're like being like super passionate about each other. But like, my mate picked up a glass of water. Like, girl, chill. They'd say something and then they'd end it in mate. And there was this one point where I was like, is Rhys talking to Feyre or to Asriel? Because I'm sure in lots of countries, especially Australia, we call our friends mate. Like, how you going, mate? And Rhys just said something and I was like, who is he talking to? Feyre really annoyed me in this book. Better than in the first book where she was just like, I'm gonna do things that'll probably get me killed and I know they'll probably get me killed, but I'm gonna do them anyway because I do whatever the fuck I want. In this one, I don't know, sometimes I feel like she was really dumb or she was overly confident. Like she was all talk and no show, and actually I sort of, for like the first 2/3 of the book, that is really how I felt. They keep talking about doing the stuff, they never show us. Come on, like, where's the drama? I was really bored for a lot of the book. And even after the war started, there was bits that I was like, I'm tired, so I could put this down and just go to sleep. Even though I was like 50 pages from the end. It wasn't as immersive as it could have been. Feyre is always just like watching the battles and sort of describing what's going on, as opposed to like, she could have been down there fighting. If we had a proper dual perspective of Rhys and Feyre, I think it would have made it better, because Rhys does so much and we never get that perspective, and I feel like having his perspective on the battlefield, it would have changed everything. It would have made it just a little bit like better. So we start off with Feyre in the spring court with Lucian and Tamlin, and Tamlin's like, I'm such a good guy. I saved you from that evil bat. You should love me. And she's like, I do love you, lol. This book was so funny though. These twins show up who I think are going to be really pertinent to the story. And they come up with Jurian, and I'm like, Jurian is a face. But turns out he's not. And I could sort of see that when Feyre, Lush and Jurian were with the twins at the wall and Children of the Blessed were there, and Feyre sort of almost saved them. She was like, run away, and Jurian was like, thank you. Holy crap, this guy is actually an empathetic human. He's not like Donald Trump or anything. And I was like, maybe he's good, but I doubt it. I knew there's no way that Lucian was actually a bad guy. Like, I love this kid so much. He's my fave babe. Well, I mean, so many of them are. Actually, I love Rhys, but he's not my favorite in the book anymore. It's like Lucian or Asriel or Nesta. Feyre in the spring court was so funny. She was so fucking sassy. She's like, I'm gonna make Tamlin think that I like Lucian. Like, I'm gonna play into Tamlin's insecurities, pick his best friend and make him think that we're together, which is like totally like, that is a sound fear. Like, I love my friends so much. I would be so scared of introducing any boyfriend to them, for like, just in case the boyfriend's like, no, I like them more, because my friends are so great. The one thing that didn't happen in this book that I was like certain was gonna happen was Feyre's mother was gonna like be a part of something, but no, she's just dead. She died. She actually died for real. Died dead. She's dead. R.I.P. Feyre's mom. Oh, look at this note. It says Nesta part cauldron. Hey, got it. Obviously, Ianthe was gonna die, and she did at the hands of the Weaver, and sort of like his Feyre too. Bye! So, like halfway through this, maybe that's a bit more than halfway, whenever the sisters were brought back down to the house, I started shipping Elaine and Asriel so hard. And I knew there's probably a chance that Sarah will put Asriel and Moore together, even though like I didn't ship them. I've never really, maybe I shipped them at first when I was first reading A Court of Mist and Fury, but I think it was really just like I loved Asriel and I want him to be happy. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't get it. They've known each other for like centuries. She's just basically been ignoring him. I was like, well, stop leading him on. But obviously there's like a whole reason. So let's just go through characters. Asriel, I love him. I love Asriel so much, and I love him even more after this, and I just want the best for him, and I feel like that is Elaine. And I know she's mated with Lucian, but I want her to be with Asriel, and as much as I love Lucian, like, I want Elaine to be with Asriel. Maybe Asriel and Lucian are bi and they can just have this polyamorous thing. I want them to be happy. Amren is, oh, I love her. And when we got to the part where she's like, okay, I'm gonna change back now, I just started bawling my eyes out. I was like close to hysterically sobbing. It was the thing that I cried over the most in the whole book, like more than when my precious Cereal I'm so sad. I cried a lot when Amren wanted to change back, and I was like, I love you and I'm so happy for you, but don't leave me. She did she's back, but I feel like kind of gypped. I expected her to go home and be happy as like whatever that fantastic dragony phoenix thing was, but she's back. She's gonna be with Varian. She's not the monster anymore. She's just grumpy high fae. And I really like that it's confirmed that she's like Asian in appearance. Like, that is good. Is Amren a wyvern like in Throne of Glass? They're not that scary though. Probably a dragon. Turns out she's just some mystical being that Sarah made the fuck up. It's like half dragon, half phoenix, half slaying bit. I weirdly like imagined it almost to be like a mermaid, but not. It doesn't make sense in my head, but I can see it. I don't know how to put it into words, but it definitely had like a mermaid tail. So like moving on to like more, I really didn't like her in this book. Like part of it might be because I did think she was gonna turn out to be evil. She was just so annoying and she was so rude sometimes, and I'm like, can you chill? When they were in the Court of Nightmares and her dad was there and she's like freaking the f out. I see your dad a lot. Did you know this? Like, you see him like fairly frequently. And Eris turns up and she's like shaking, and then later on Eris is like, you couldn't even hide your emotions, are you kidding? And I'm like, that's a thing that she should know how to do, seeing as she's Rhys's third in charge. You think she would be able to do that and work well under pressure? And she's very naive towards like she jumps to conclusions a lot. I definitely felt like Moore was like playing dumb for a really long time and that she was going to be a traitor. Rhys and Asriel didn't tell the girls about the plan of bringing Eris in, the deal that had been made, and I'm like, okay, so are they like testing Moore? Asriel's been watching Moore for a long time, so maybe he's not in love with her, he's just keeping an eye on her for Rhys, because they think she's sus. Everything just sort of fit together. She was always trying to change the plans. I feel like it was a bit of a missed opportunity for her to not be a traitor. Or like for Amren to not be a traitor. Feyre literally thought she was a traitor at one point. But she wasn't. She's just amazing. She's bi. So that's nice that we've got like, I was gonna say main character, but she's definitely a secondary character, but it's still like a beloved character. She's bisexual, which like gives her like decent reasonings for her actions, but it doesn't make me like her anymore. She was still really rude to some people in the book. She was so rude to Nesta, which I mean, like, Nesta's a really rude person, but all Nesta did was like glance at Cassian and she just like went off. Nesta, this girl, I love her so much. She is a cow, but her character development was so great. I like her a lot. I need her and Cassian to be together. I really think, because we had that chapter from before, which was basically like Sarah's like fan fiction, the Court of Mist and Fury Target edition. I figured like one of these novels that she's doing in that second series, it has to be Nessian, because it can't, like, she clearly loves them enough to write them a whole chapter before she even decided she was going to do these novels. So I need it. Give me. I'll calm down now. I think like I almost love them more than Rhys and Feyre. Look, the best part about these relationships is like the tension and the pining, and I really love slow burns. So good. When they kissed and he was like dying, that was breaking me. Cassian. Ooh, buddy, does he love Nesta. I want to know if like they're mated, but neither of them wanted to say it out loud, because like Nesta wouldn't just be like, oh, that's my mate. She'd be like, off. I don't have feelings. I don't like him. And Cassian, he's clearly very respectful of her and a bit scared of her. So I feel like even if he felt the mating bond, he wouldn't say it because he didn't want to scare her. Like, oh, like, I mean, it could still happen. It could still snap into place in the future. Even if it has already happened. Neither of them have said it because they don't want to like scare the other one or make the other one angry or like... I love that. I wrote a note and it says, like Darcy in Pride and Prejudice 2005, and then I drew a little picture of the crying emoji, and here where I've marked it, it says, "You're welcome," Cassian called after her, more than a bite to his words. His hands clenched and slackened at his sides as if he were trying to loosen the feel of her from his palm.
You're welcome.
Holy shit. They touch hands and neither of them are like wearing gloves or anything, and that's like they basically had sex. It just made me think of this. He's like, oh my god, I can feel her on me. What? Oh no, oh no. I love it. There were a few times where I was like, maybe Maul is gay and that's why she doesn't like these boys in that way, and then she sort of was. She wasn't full gay, she's half gay, she's bisexual. Right before she was like, I'm gay, I wrote a note and it was literally 2 pages before Maul was telling Feyre that she's bisexual. I was like, I really feel like she's not gonna turn out to be evil now. Like, she's either calling her away to attack her or actually tell her stuff. And it was tell her stuff. So Lucian's family and his family history. Didn't see that coming. What? Lucian's mother was pretty much like sold into this marriage with his dad, who is not his dad, and it's actually Helion, who I love a lot. He's lovely. And Feyre is just like, holy shit, this man is so beautiful. He's like dazzling Feyre with his beauty. Sarah said one of the novels she's gonna write is gonna be set before this series. I'm thinking one could possibly be Helion and Lucian's mother, but also that seems like it would be like way too sad. So maybe it's a novella, but I sort of like want the novellas to be like about like the queens and like Miriam and Draken and Jurian. Like I want those other stories that they were telling us about. Oh, like those like seraphim, well, like those angel people. Look at this note. It just says, I love Asriel, and that is as real as it gets. I love Nesta so much. That girl is clearly not a fan of feelings. I get that. I totally get it. She doesn't need to be a dick about it, but I get it. I love her and Cassian. I loved all the High Lords that we met except for Baron. He can die. I hope Eris actually kills him. Actually, for real, can Eris kill him? Something I thought that was gonna happen. Somehow Lucian is going to become a High Lord of somewhere. And it didn't happen. Or maybe I thought Tamlin's gonna die and there's no heir, and they'll be like, you can be the High Lord of Spring, and then he and Elaine will live there and Elaine can plant all her gardens. I'm really glad that Lucian didn't die. I thought he was going to, and when he went away and didn't come back, I thought he was going to die. But he didn't, so it's fine. Only my precious Suriel. So the Suriel, she's like, I'm gonna go find the Suriel. And I was like, yes! And then we get to him and he's like, oh hey Farah, what's up babe? And then he dies. We get like half a page with this beautiful sassy creature. King Ianthe kills him. This idiot, why did you take that cape? You knew what the cape was doing, but you took it and then she killed you. Like, why would you? You love Farah. You think Farah's great. Farah is so nice to you and you took the cape and then you died because you did that. But then on like the next page, Ianthe dies, so it was fun. I feel like it was really rushed though, but I'm still happy she's dead, obviously, because she's a I'm swearing a lot in this video. It means I'm passionate about things. So the war, it was more like watching a documentary about the war instead of watching like a movie that's based on it. Does that make sense? Like, when you watch a documentary, you're just sort of being told about it. You feel like disconnected from it. But when you watch a movie, you're like in it. You're in the action, like, oh no! Like the whole time. That's what this book felt like to me in Adriata and on the battlefield. Also, that was like so confusing, like where they were going, like everyone kept moving and I'm like, where are we? Ianthe's death was like so abrupt and Farah was like, I can hear her dying screams, ha 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 ha. And I was like, well, we didn't actually like see her die. I like questioned the validity of it. And when Farah went into the Highburn camp as Ianthe, I was like, Ianthe's gonna be in there and we're all gonna freak out. I felt like nothing went too wrong in anyone's plans. You know, in this kind of series, the good guys are gonna win. Farah, Rhys, they were never gonna die. You just know that sort of stuff's not going to happen. It wasn't as stressful as it could have been. 620, LMAO. That wasn't funny. It was a bit funny. When Rhys is like... Rhys was still smiling at me as he extended a hand towards Highburn's army, now trying to adjust to the rampant havoc. His fingers pointed. Obsidian power erupted from him. A massive chunk of Highburn's army just misted. Misted. I thought it was hilarious. Farah's dad, everything was so much more dramatic than it was supposed to be. He came through. I knew he was over there trying to get help for them or something, but like, and I get like he's their dad, whatever. It was because I don't like have a close relationship with my dad that I like didn't feel it, but it was kind of like, I don't know, he died and I was like, oh, that's a bit sad that the dad died, but I don't really care. Whoops. So this is a fantasy novel, right? So things aren't always, like, they don't have to be logical, but you can't tell me that in the 500 years since the last war, no one except Helion learned spells. Like, I swear, Helion, Amren, and the King of Highburn are the only 3 people who use spells in this book. what, do they need a special power for it? Like, no one else uses spells, and it's like, you know that the King of Highburn uses spells, but you're not going to learn how to use spells to try and beat him? They're f***ing idiots. Feyre left. Like, Maud got like super angry at her, and she didn't tell anyone except Nesta, who didn't tell anyone. It's like, it's a mess. And she left, and they're all like, where is she? Why couldn't Rhys use the bond? Is like the middle, is that bit, does magic work differently there? I forget. Like, I know it's in no one's territory, but like surely Rhys would be able to like feel the bond. He could feel the bond when he was under the mountain and Feyre was in the Spring Court. I don't. Some of this stuff, things would just be much easier if you just used the bond to find your wife. Okay, so like the King of Highburn killed the Weaver real suddenly. She's like this all-powerful, super ancient being, and he just killed her like that. I get that he's really powerful, but I don't understand how that happened. I thought they were going to like battle or something. He just like smiled at her and then snapped her neck. Why did she let him do that? Things just like don't add up in this book, and that's why I think she was really rushed in writing it. She wrote too many sex scenes and not enough things that make sense to me. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because I really like it. The writing is really good, but I guess I've come to expect more from Sarah, I guess. I liked Feyre and Rhys less in this. Don't get me wrong, there's so many moments that I love, and like I still love them, like OTP 5 ever. There was just like a lot of sexual stuff and not enough of the feelings that make it the great relationship that it is. Okay, the King of Highburn had their dad and he's trying to get stuff from them. He's like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna kill your dad. They don't even agree to do it or do it, and he kills their dad, and it's like, you just lost your leverage. I don't. And like, I would have assumed like right after that Nesta would have just like killed the king. Just like, I don't know, she collapsed and thought about Cassian. Nesta is so full of rage all of the time. Where did it go this time? I like the way he died. Like, I knew Elaine was going to like wield some like sword or at some point or another, even though like Cassian was always like, if you don't have training, you can't use swords. Have you read any books ever? Clearly girls just know how to use swords suddenly. I knew from the second Elaine was like saying these weird riddles that she was going to be some sort of psychic, and so when they were like, she's a seer, I was like, no sh**. But like, I mean, like these characters, they don't know that they're in a novel, so things aren't as predictable to them as they are to me. I feel like Elaine and her powers weren't utilized. Like, does she even have magic, or can she just like see the future or something? They brought Nesta along for the cauldron, but they would just like leave her away from wherever they are. If they're doing something with the cauldron, you need to know right away, not like in like 3 hours when you just go back to Nesta and like find her there. You need to know like right away. She can't winnow to you. About the winnowing, Rhys was always winnowing Feyre, and I don't get it. Like you love each other, so you want to hold each other a lot. Rhys carried Feyre and Azriel carried like 3 people at one point, instead of Rhys taking 1 person and Feyre taking 1 person and Azriel taking 2 or something like that. I don't know. Things like didn't make that much sense. Lucian said that they made a bargain with Highburn to get Feyre back, but he also said if Tamlin breaks the bargain, then he'd probably die or something super drastic would happen to him. And Tamlin's like, no, I'm on your side. But how can you be on their side if you literally made a bargain with this guy and we know this? Is it a plot hole, or am I thinking wrong stuff? Why isn't Tamlin dead? Is that why he's like, be happy because some part of him died? Did like the bitter part of him die? Is that what he lost from the bargain? Feyre was sort of like all talk, no action. There was always talk about her being so powerful and all that jazz, and she just sort of never did anything. Oh, and when she was going to get the mirror, the Ouroboros, Sick Teen Wolf reference. She was like climbing up these stairs talking about how drained her power was, and then she brought up a Fey light. She was always talking about how well she knows Reese when he's like constantly surprising her. I don't know. There's just a lot in this book that was just not, it didn't like click together for me as much as I would have wanted it to, but it's still my favorite series. Oh. Can Elaine and the cereal be future singing buddies? No! When Nesta and Feyre were in the library and the Raven people show up, are there like another set of twins? These guys show up as Elaine had predicted. This whole scene at the bottom of the library was so chilling and it was so good. I loved it. Reaxis was there, which sounds a lot like Abraxos. When Feyre was in Reese's mind in Adriata, oh, that was so good. That bit was immersive because she was there in the action, which doesn't happen. When her and Amryn were crawling up to the cauldron, the king was right there. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, things just didn't happen to Feyre. She watched things happen and it just made me feel really disconnected. I don't remember when I finished this book, but I'm pretty sure it took me 6 days to read. So I didn't have book hangover, although I haven't read any books yet, but that's just because I'm lazy and I've been watching Lost instead. I wasn't dissatisfied with this book. It was underwhelming. I built it up too much in my head and all these theories on the internet were so good. I don't know what's happening in the future. Is everyone gonna come together and fairies and humans will just like live together instead of being separate entities? Oh, I want them to be one body, one world, one family. I really liked when they were going to the meeting with all the High Lords and Feyre was like, we need to be ourselves. I love that. That was great. What a great choice. Stop scaring them, guys. Just scare Tamlin and Baron because they're... Oh, there's this time they'd had sex. She's like talking about worshipping Reese, whatever, with like her body, and she's like, and I hope this shard of life we offered up, blah blah blah, and I was like, shard of life? Like a baby? I thought she was gonna be pregnant at the end of the book. I thought they would go to war, they'd win, obviously. She'd be like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. Oh, when Tamlin showed up to the meeting and he's like, Reese, you started this war by taking my wife. Oh my god, shut up. You didn't have to go to Highburn and strike a deal with him to get your property back. You could have just gone to the Night Court and maybe like a few things up to get her back. He went to Highburn and started a war? Oh, I thought that maybe breaking the cauldron was gonna like break Nesta and kill her, and that scared me. My very last notes are, bullshit, she's not with Azriel. Azriel deserves the best because Elaine and Lucian were really connecting. I'm happy for Lucian, but I would prefer Elaine and Azriel to be together, especially now that we know that he's not going to end up with Mor. I really would have liked to have a scene where Mor comes out to the group, so maybe that will be in one of the novels. There's a lot of things that frustrated me about this book because so many things were left unanswered. There's so many things that I'm like, she's not even going to address that in future books. Yeah, yeah. But the Dawn Court is very pretty and I want to live there. I think that's all I want to say. This is not as good as my Acro Math talk, but thank you for watching. Liked it if you like it. Please talk to me about a lot of stuff. I do want to reread the series at some point. I don't know if it'll be this year or next year or what. Acro Math is still definitely my favorite book, one of my favorite books of all time. Subscribe if you want to see more content from this blob of cream. I'm sorry about the lighting. If the lighting is awful, I'm just like trying to figure it out. It was really good like 3 videos ago, but I don't remember how I had it set up. And I will talk to you next time. Bye! Is that my housemate? What is she doing home? Alicia, where are you going? It's the middle of the day. You should be at work. That's not Alicia.